This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So as you know that we are here to learn, I'm here to give you a demo on Selenium. So let's start up with why Selenium. Why Selenium is actually been taking the entire market repo. So there are many tools which are there in the market now, like UFT, which was actually a predominant tool, which was ruling the market till ages. Since ages, it was ruling the market. But the time when Selenium has come into the market, it has taken the entire market repo, right? So because there should be some advantages which should be there beside it or behind it, because of which this tool is becoming the most popular tool in the market. So coming to the very first advantage of Selenium is going to be it is a open source tool. So open source tool is going to be the very first advantage which is there with respect to Selenium. And just because a tool is an open source, people will not go readily and implement an open source tool, right? Because we have so many tools which are open source, which are there running in the market, but still we are going and relying upon only Selenium because of its advantages which are there provided in the backend with respect to Selenium. That's the reason why we are going and implementing Selenium as a tool for the test automation process. Right? So one advantage is going to be yes, because Selenium is an open source tool and it is giving a very tough competition when compared to your licensed tools as well. Because licensed tools, whatever the job it can do, even my open source tool called to be a Selenium has a capability to implement all those particular concepts. So that's the reason why now it is becoming a very much hot cake in the market, I can say it as. So what are the advantages of Selenium? The very first thing is what are the different advantages of Selenium that are there? So the very first advantage is yes, it is an open source tool. Second advantage is going to be yes, whenever we talk about automation, so when it comes, the very first things when it comes to an automation for a test engineer, we are all the time worried about only one thing. So it is all the time coding, 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 and coding. So what I have to write a code. So when it comes to UFT as a tool, yes, I have to learn a VB scripting there. Suppose if I'm not that much known with VB scripting, what is going to be my workaround? Do I have any workarounds there? No. So you have to learn VB scripting there, and you have to write a code when it comes to UFT. And in the similar lines, if you want to implement RFT, if you want to go and work in RFT, you need to know about Java or you need to know about .NET, then only you can go and work with RFT. So we don't have that many workarounds in order to work with the automation tool called to be as an UFT or an RFT. But when it comes to Selenium, yes, Selenium gives you a wide range of programming language supports. So it has a support for different types of programming languages, right? So when I say different types of programming languages, you can go work with Java, you can work with .NET, you can work with Ruby, you can work with Python, you can work with C Sharp, right? So in this way, endless JavaScripting and all. So endless different types of programming languages are supported over here with respect to Selenium, which is making this particular tool a very comfortable tool to be used across. And we have even a record and a playback functionality which is being there, which is being provided for us with respect to Selenium, where the code can be generated automatically. And for that particular baseline code, whatever is being generated, you can go and enhance the code as well. So you can get a base deck. So whatever the base deck that is being received, you can go and work with the enhancement with respect to that particular base deck. Right. So one very advantage is going to be, yes, for a test engineer, the toughest job is going to be to learn a programming language. If I'm working on UFT, I have to learn VB scripting. If I'm working on some other tool, I have to learn that particular programming language, then only I can work with it. But here, yes, if you have a knowledge on any one of a programming language, you need not again go and relearn the other programming languages. So in the programming language, whatever you're comfortable with, you can easily go and implement that particular programming language with respect to Selenium, right? So none of the tool gives us such a good advantage where you can pick a programming language of your choice and start working with respect to Selenium, right? So next is going to be it supports different operating systems. And yes, whenever you do a testing, we are supposed to do a wide range of a compatibility testings as well. So you should be able to test your application on Windows, or you should be able to test your application on different operating systems like Linux. And if you're working with a mobile application, so you should be able to test it on Android and iOS and all, right? So here My Selenium gives me a capability to test my application on different types of operating systems as well. So Linux, you can go work with Android, Selenium. So even we have different types of operating systems which are supported. So you can achieve the wide range of a compatibility testing. Wide range of a compatibility testing can be achieved with respect to our Selenium. And next is going to be, the fourth point is going to be yes. So whenever we work with the testing, nowadays most of the applications will be hosted over web, right? And we have the applications which would be hosted over mobile. So what we have to do now here is we should be testing our application. Our target application should be tested on different types of browsers, and our target application should be tested on mobile. And again, on the mobile, we should be able to test it over different browsers as well, right? So now here, when it comes to browsers, Selenium has a supports for almost all the browsers, like IE could be, Firefox, Chrome browser is supported, a Safari browser is supported, and even the HTML unit. This is also a browser, a headless browser, where you will be not having any GUI. So you don't have any GUI over here. So such type of browser automations are also supported for us over here with respect to Selenium. So you can go automate your Opera browser, Safari browser, IE browser, Firefox browser, Chrome browsers and all, right? So next is going to be, this beautiful tool has a compatibility to work with the parallel automation. So you can work with the parallel automation as well. So which means that you can execute your single test case or a group of your test cases parallelly on multiple machines. So this is possible by using a concept called to be as a Selenium grid. So imagine such a beauty of a tool. It can do so many things. So even our licensed tools are not giving us the capability to work with the programming language of my choice, operating system of my choice, and the browser of my choice, right? So it is giving me so many compatibilities, and among all these things, it is an open source tool for me, right? And apart from that, it can do full-fledged functional testing, it can work with, and it can even do the regression testings. This particular Selenium automation can implement functional testing, regression testings. It can work with mobile application testings, and you can integrate this component to the continuous integration tools like Jenkins, it could be, or you can integrate it to Maven, you can integrate it to GitHub. So it has a wide range of enhancement which is actually which you can do. So you can make it as a powerful automation tool as well by working with the integrations. So it has a capability to work with whatever integrations you wanted to work with. But the only disadvantage which I will see with respect to Selenium is going to be, it supports only the web-based automation. So you can do only the web application automation by using Selenium, but not the desktop-based automation. So when it comes to the desktop-based automations, you need to take the help of the programming language which you're working with. So now take a scenario. If I'm working with Java as a programming language to implement my Selenium, so with respect to Java, I need to check if there are any workarounds. So yes, if there are the workarounds, I can go and automate even the smaller interactions of the desktop-based applications. But my Selenium tool is being primarily designed to automate the web-based applications, right? So these all are the advantages which are there with respect to my Selenium. So that's the reason why it is becoming one of the most popularly used tool across the globe. So yes, we are saying all the time Selenium, Selenium, Selenium. So what? Is it a single tool, or is it a suite of tools, or what actually it is? So when I talk about a Selenium, so Selenium generally is not a tool. We use an acronym saying that it is a tool, but it is not a tool for us. It is a library which is provided for us. With the help of those libraries, whatever are given for us, we go generally implement our automation, right? So this particular component called to be as Selenium was invented by a person called to be as a Jason Huggins in the year 2004. Right, so 2004, Jason Huggins has invented this particular project, and the very first version was given as the name called as the JavaScript program. JavaScript program, which was given a name called to be as the Selenium core. Right. So Selenium core was the very first component which has come into the market. So there were few issues with respect to Selenium core, like the same origin issues which were running, like where you cannot automate the applications of a different domain. So if you're working with Google page, you can automate only the links or the objects which are present in the Google page. You cannot automate the objects which are there on the Yahoo page. So same origin issues were there, because of which this particular Selenium core was facing issues to work with the automation, test automation of the web applications. So then after that, different engineers has given up their hands and they have contributed their work, and they have come up with a component called to be as a Selenium RC. So Selenium RC. So Selenium RC was the very first standardized, stabilized version which was released into the market, and the entire web automations were happening with respect to Selenium RC. So I don't want to go into the architectural differences now because you don't understand any. So let me define what are the different components of Selenium that are there. So we have 4 different components of Selenium. The very first component of Selenium is going to be Selenium Ide. Second component of Selenium is going to be Selenium RC. Third component of Selenium is going to be Selenium WebDriver. Fourth component of Selenium is nothing but Selenium Grid. So 4 different components of Selenium together is called to be as the Selenium suite for us, right? So RC over here team, RC is deprecated. There is no more being used in the projects. They are not providing any supports with respect to RC now. So we have different versions of Selenium which are there. So Selenium 1. So Selenium version number 1 was having ID, was having RC, and was having grid. So there was no WebDriver component which was there. So after that we had Selenium version number 2, which was having ID, which was having RC, and they have introduced a new component called to be as the WebDriver, and then again grid was there. Now we have Selenium version number 3, where we don't have the support for RC now. So deprecated, it is totally deprecated. People are not using anymore in the projects. Everything is revamped to WebDriver. We are working only with WebDriver. But still, you need to mention this because we may have even the companies which are running even on the RCs as well, right? So these are the 3 different versions of Selenium, version 1, version 2, and version 3. So version 1, there was no WebDriver. Version 2, WebDriver was being introduced. RC combined with WebDriver is nothing but called to be a Selenium 2 for us over here. So Selenium 2 has a capability to work with the RC as well as WebDriver. So now with respect to Selenium 3, it has been moved into a legacy package where you don't have any support with respect to RC. Totally people have started using or working on Selenium WebDriver over here. So WebDriver and a grid. So why we need these all 4 components? Can't we do everything by using a single component? No. So these 4 components, each component has a significance. So now I will say it as RC. We are not going to discuss because I can say that 6 years, from 6 or 7 years, I'm handling the sessions on Selenium, or I work on Selenium. Nowhere I've been using RC. The moment the WebDriver has come into the market, people have stopped using RC. Right? Everything has been moved into WebDriver. So it's mere waste of a time if you discuss about RC or we start writing something about RC. So only from the interview perspective, maybe you need to know the architectural differences between RC and the WebDriver. But when it comes to the subject perspective, you don't need to learn anything about RC. Our main focus is going to be only on a WebDriver part, how to work with WebDriver, how to play around with grid, and how to play around with IDE, right? So what are these components? How these components will help us out to work with our test automation? Yes. So whenever you work with any of an automation tool, guys, it could be UFT, or it could be Selenium, or it could be RFT, any of a tool for that case, will provide you one particular flexibility called to be as a record and a playback flexibility, right? So where you are allowed to work with the recording. Once you have recorded your script, whatever the script that is getting generated, you would be able to play back that particular script as well, right? So this Selenium, this particular functionality called as record and playback is provided for us with the help of Selenium IDE, which is nothing but the integrated development environment, right? So this is what is going to be my IDE. So Selenium IDE is nothing but an integrated development environment. What it is a record record and playback plugin. Right, so first let us start with Selenium Ide. What this record and a playback plugin can do, what are the capabilities it has actually to do. So since I'm saying it as a plugin, it is not a test automation tool for us, it is a plugin for us. So what can this particular plugin can do? It can do record and a playback options for us. So for which browsers can you install this plugin? I can install this plugin to Firefox browser and Chrome browser. The latest versions are supporting for the Firefox and as well as Chrome browser. Even there were the outdated versions of Selenium Ide which were there, which used to support only Firefox browser. But now we have a support for Firefox browser as well as the Chrome browser. Okay, one question is answered for us. Now from where can I get this particular Selenium Ide? So I should have a site or a location from where actually I can go and get my Selenium IDs as well, or softwares with respect to Selenium downloaded as well, right? So with respect to my browser, I think it is getting updated. Yes, here it is. So with respect to Selenium downloads, Selenium documentation, official documentation, latest release notes and everything, the only site from where you can get it is going to be Selenium Dev. So this is going to be the official site from where you can download the softwares, install them on your machines, from where you can get the documentation, a good documentation as well. So it is going to be from Selenium Dev. So here is the place from where you can download and work with it. So if you can see here, I can go to the downloads page now, and we have different components which you can download. So I wanted to download Selenium Ide. So Selenium Ide for Chrome we have, and another one is going to be for Firefox. Since I'm working on the Firefox, I'll click on this Firefox and then just I'll add this particular plugin to my Firefox. So once you click on this add, the add-on will be created for you, or a plugin will be created for your browser. It will ask you to restart your browser. Because I have already created my add-on, it is not giving me the option of adding it. So for the very first time when you work, it will give you an option to add. So once you add it, so that particular plugin will get created for your browser. It will ask you to restart. After the restarting, yes, you can find it over here. So if you can see here, an icon with a Selenium is being created for us over here towards your right top corner, right? So I will open this now, and from here is the place where I will start working with my Selenium Ide, right? So let us very quickly run through one demo with respect to Selenium Ide, see what Selenium Ide has a capability to do, and then we'll discuss the advantages and disadvantages. So I'm not going to cover everything with respect to the tool because this is just a demo session. So let us very quickly see what are the different options that are there in Selenium Ide. So if you can see here, Selenium Ide has an option for recording a new test in a new project. So where you can go create a new project and a new test case inside it and start working with the recording. And you can go, if you have any projects already being created, you can open them, start reworking on them, or you can create a new project, or you can close your Selenium Ide. So this is all what you can do in the very first page. So I will say record a new test in a new project. I will give a project name called to be as demo underscore Selenium. Click on OK. So now whenever you create any project, yes, we need to give the base URL on which you wanted to work with. www.google.com. Start recording. So once you give on that site URL, once you provide the URL, automatically the Google page would be loaded for us, where with the recording enabled on it. So once you start working with this recording, so now if you can see here, once you start working and interacting with the application, so script will be generated for each and every interactions whatever you do with the application. So I'm clicking on software testing link, and I will click on the main page link. Excuse me guys. Right, so now after these all things are done, now I can come back and stop. Excuse me, stop the recording and give the name for the test. So I will give the name as the test, a simple test. So if you can see here, this is all what it can do. So it has generated the script even for the lines of a code which is not required. That is what generally a record and a playback does. For each and every small interactions, whatever you do, mouse over, mouse out, mouse in and all, the script will be generated for all of them. And this is what is, I feel like a headache with respect to record and a playback, because the script will be generated even for the unnecessary events where it is actually not needed for us, right? So now this is my code which has been generated. After this, now if you want to run this particular code, what happens? We need to click on this particular run. So once you click on run, it will be doing the entire job, whatever we have asked our tool to do with, right? So that is how our executions, recording and executions will be happening with respect to Selenium Ide. And don't think that is this going to be only this much what we can do with the Selenium Ide? No, you can make it to as a very powerful tool as well. You can turn it out to turn this particular Selenium Ide to a very powerful tool, because we have enhancements which are supported, we have conditional statements which are supported, looping statements which are supported, we have data parameterization is not supported. We have these all things. So we have screenshots which can be captured and all. So we can turn this out to be a very powerful tool. So now my question is, when can we, your question could be like, when to use Selenium Ide, when to use Selenium WebDriver, and when to use Selenium Grid and all, right? So Selenium IDs can be used when you want to create a prototypes. When you want to create a prototypes, at that point of a time, yes, you can go use Selenium Ide. So I'm very new to the tool. I want to become perfect with respect to the scripting and all. Initially, when I work for the very first time on the coding and all, I may not be that much excellent, right? I may not be that much well versed in the programming language. So I need a tool which can help me out, or which can guide me with respect to these all things, right? So script generation, it could be object identification, it could be and all. So yes, the Selenium Ide is going to be an answer for us. So Selenium IDs can be used when you work with the prototypings. If you want to work with your learning process, if you want to make your learning process easy, you can go take the help of Selenium Ide. And if you want to work with POCs as well, POCs. So your projects are yet to be signed off. You watch just checking the compatibility of Selenium with respect to your application. At that point of a time, you can go take the help of Selenium Ide, because I don't want to invest that much amount of a time sitting and writing a code, right? So at that point of a time, you can go take the help of Selenium Ide to work with the POCs. So if you can see here, this is how Selenium Ide would look like. We have three different columns here: command column, target column, and the value column. What is the importance of these command, target, and value column? So whenever we talk about automation, automation is what you want to do and where you want it to do, right? So what you want to automate and where is that you wanted to perform this automation. So what I want to do, what operation do I wanted to do on the object will be answered by my command column, and where you wanted to do that particular specific operation will be answered by my target column. So command column is answering what you wanted to do, and your target column is answering where you wanted to do. So these are often important things for us. Value column, it is a test data part. Yes, we get generally test data from developers, or we go create the test data and all. So you can ignore that. So, but when it comes to an automation, your main job is going to be, you should be able to learn, or you should be able to know what are the different commands that are there in Selenium, by using which I can automate an object, and what are the different methods by using which I can identify the objects. So that is will be answered by my target column. Yes, now as a no voice person, now you people are no voice. Now you are able to see, okay, there is some command called as an open. What it is doing, it is opening a base URL. So it is opening simply a base URL. A single / indicates it is opening a base URL. So next command is click. What this click is doing, it is going and clicking on the object with a name equals to Q, right? So if you want to know what this object is actually, where this particular object is there, what you can do here is you can go back to the Google page. You can come here and you can say, select the target in the page. So if you can see here, it is highlighting that particular object, or else find the target. So if you can see there, it is highlighting that particular object. So it is highlighting that particular object. So it is clicking on the text box. After clicking on the text box, what it is doing, it is entering the text in the text box. And then when we go on, these all commands, whatever objects you wanted to highlight them on the web applications, you can highlight them very easily. So it is helping you out in your learning process. Yes, okay, there is an object called as a text box, and it is having a properties or a targets called as name, CSS, XPath, and all. So now you need not invest your energies to write your XPaths, or you need not invest your energies to write your class values. So Selenium Ide will help you out with respect to generation of XPath, CSS values and all. But again, in the main tutorial, we'll be seeing how to create an XPath manually without taking the help of a tool, how to create an CSS values manually without taking the help of a tool, and how to generate the name values and all. Right. So now, yes, what an ID will do, it will capture these set of properties by using which it can identify the target object. So it will start with the very first property. It will check if the property match is happening. If it is not happening, it will come to the next property. It will check if a property match is happening. If it is not happening, it will come to the next. So in this way, it will keep on checking for the properties till the valid property is being fetched. It will keep on continuing the search, and once a valid property is being fetched, if it is able to identify the object, it will take the property and it will identify the object. So at the very first go, if it is able to identify the object with the name equals to Q, it will stop its search process there. It will go simply work on that particular object and continues with the next line. Right. So this is how you can use it. And see the beauty of this Selenium Ide. Not only it is recording and playing back the code for us, and not only it is showing me the command, what are the different commands that are there and what are the different targets that are there and all. Now we have an option of exporting this particular code. This is a basic HTML code which is being generated for me. So this basic HTML code can be converted into whatever programming language. So the programming language of your choice, it can convert the program, this particular HTML code to the programming language of your choice. So for that to happen, go to the test case. So if you can see here, we have a test case here. Right click on this test case and say export. When you say export, there are the different formats which are supported. So do you want to work with C# and unit, C# X unit, Java JUnit, JavaScript Mocha, and Python? So in this way, we have so many languages to which you can actually export your test cases to. So I will export this particular test case to Java JUnit. So click on export. So once you click on export, I will save it in the documentations with a name called as underscore test. Click on save. So when I go back to my D drive, sorry, I saved it in the documents space. So it should be Selenium underscore test. So if you can see here, this is going to be my Java piece of a code which got generated. Right. So if you can see here, I'm not saved it with .java extension, but automatically it has saved this particular export as a Java file for us. It has saved this particular export as a Java file for us. Now if you can see here, this is going to be my JavaScript. So you can simply copy this particular script, place it inside your WebDriver. If you have any enhancements to be done to this particular script, you can do the enhancement and steadily execute this particular script. So this is what is the beauty of Selenium Ide, I can say it as. So one tool which is supporting you to work with different programming languages. But the base programming language is going to be the HTML programming language. This HTML piece of a code can be converted to whatever programming language of your choice and then start working with it. Okay, now if you want to work with conditional statements, now if you want to work with looping statements inside Selenium Ide, yes, you can go implement the conditional statements, you can implement the looping statements, and even you can call different test cases as well. Now suppose take a scenario, I'm calling test2. Right? So inside test2, I wanted to call test1. So whatever test I've created previously, I wanted to call that test. So what I will do here is I will give a condition. I will give a conditional statement called as if. If I have to give a condition. So in order to give a condition, there should be first a thing which I have to create. So what I will do here is record mortgage calculator. This is going to be the application. So what I will do here is I will change my home value to 8 lakhs, loan amount to 7 lakhs, interest rate is going to be 5%, and then click on calculate, right? So after this calculation happens, there would be a monthly payment which will get displayed for me. So I wanted to capture that monthly payment, and I wanted to compare it with one value. So I wanted to do a validation over here now. So in order to work with the validation, yes, we have even the validation commands which are there. So here we will not write anything, guys. We'll expect the Selenium ID whenever you work with if conditional looping statements, conditional statements. There is a place where you write your code, or where you write the content inside your Selenium ID. Otherwise, we go take the help of record and playbacks only in order to work with respect to script generation. It could be any part of it. It could be validation, it could be performing an operation on the objects, or it could be outputting the content as well. So if you wanted to capture the data as well, we'll be generally going and taking the help of these things. So first thing is, let me do it here. Record. $8 lakhs. $7 lakhs. 5%. And then click on calculate. So here is going to be my monthly payment which got displayed. So when I want to capture this value. So in order to capture this value, I have a Selenium ID command called as stored text. If you can see here, we have a Selenium ID command called as stored text, monthly underscore pay. Click on OK. That is still recording. Why it is not showing me the script? Okay, let me do one thing, otherwise close this browser. Let me just change the interest rate, otherwise 6%. Calculate. Store text, monthly underscore pay. Click on done. Why is this not capturing on this? So you can see here it is showing me the commands. So observe the Selenium ID recording. Whenever I'm doing some recorded click, it is saying it has recorded this clip. So when I say store text, so is it doing it in test 2? Stop recording. So yes, my test is still there. Test 2 is not working. I'm not sure what happened, what's gone wrong with this. Okay, let me do one thing, otherwise I will restart this. Sometimes this is what is going to be the issues with Selenium ID. So that's the reason why, and we have so many other disadvantages which are also there. So I will open an existing project on my desktop. Okay, let me do one thing. Project name is going to be demo, and base URL is going to be www.google.com. So here is going to be my base test case, which I will create first. Testing this, and then I will come here and I will stop the recording. Test 1. So I will create very quickly a test 2, and then here let me go with the other site. So here is going to be newtools.demout.com. So my base URL will be changed to newtools.demout.com, and then I'll start with the recording here. Mercury. So it will get navigated to a next page, and I wanted to capture a value here. So which value I'll be capturing here is sign off. This value I wanted to capture. So I will say Selenium Ide commands. It is going to be store text. So link. Click on OK. Done. So it was the issue with Selenium Ide. Previously it was having some issue, so it was not generating the code. Now if you can see here, yes. So what you can do here is remove all the extra codes, whatever is being generated, extra clicks and all, whatever is happening. You can remove those extra clicks, whatever are happening. Just I need to enter the username, password, and then click on the login button. And after that, I have stored the link text value called as sign off. Now here I will come with an if condition. If what I wanted to do, I wanted to compare if this particular value, whatever is there in the link, right? So dollar curly braces link. This is how generally you read the text, whatever is present inside that variable. This is a variable called as link, and the value whatever is stored in this particular variable is going to be sign off. Sign off is the value which is stored inside that particular variable. Is equals to what? It is going to be sign off. If the value is sign off, then what you wanted to do? I wanted to run this particular test 2. So what I will do here is I will say run. I have a command called as a run. And which command do I wanted to now execute? It was going to be test 1. Test 1 is going to be a test case which I wanted to execute. Otherwise, there might be an else case. Else, what you wanted to do now? Command end it. End your programming, right? You can give any conditions here. If you wanted to add any line of a code here, you can even add a line of a code here as well. So you can simply come here and you can say execute script, and you can return whatever values you wanted to return. I'll return null over here, right? So now these all things are done. Let me run the code now. So if my login happens successfully, and if my sign off links get displayed successfully, then it will go into the if condition and call the test 1 and work with the test 1. Otherwise it will go into the else condition. So here it is. So here you can see it is the time the browser is taking to respond back from the database. So it's nothing wrong with our code, it's the response time of your browser.
Hello.
Yeah, Vidya.
Udaya, I think it's fine, like for demo, whatever you presented so far.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
so I don't know, like whether a couple of people are joining for the class or I'm the only one. I'm not sure at this point. So right now, to introduce myself, I'm already working in testing,
Okay.
and I have been using performance testing tool last 1 year at my workplace. Before that, I used to be a functional tester, manual tester.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So I have been working since a long time, and last 2 years, 1.5 years, I'm using LoadRunner Jmeter for performance testing, and now they are introducing Selenium in my company. So I'm
Okay.
planning to use Selenium in the future for
Okay.
automation. So
Hmm.
that's where I stand, and I want to learn Selenium. I'll
Okay.
be the only person who is going to do automation. So my
Okay.
concern is like my
Hmm.
client is a federal this one, and I don't have many much hi-fi applications with so many this one. Most of them are forms, not too many images. It's like straightforward applications.
Hmm.
Only the problems comes with the uh, login, because it's a secured application. So we have like internal PIV called login. So
Hmm. Hmm.
sometimes the tool does not work with the internal PIV authentication.
Okay.
So
Login is going to be a window-based pop-up or web-based logins which you do.
it's a it's
Authentication
a
windows you're saying, or a simple application logins you're talking about.
the application logging is tied to the network credentials sometimes, the PIV login.
Mm. So you might need to authenticate yourself as well at times, right?
Exactly. Most of the
Mm.
applications. Apart
So
from that, the applications are very straightforward and very simple.
okay. Mm.
Because right now
So
I don't know Jmeter also. I'm learning by myself, and I'm working with my project.
okay. Mm.
So that's not like the thing is, I'm okay with your teaching or explaining things.
Okay.
Since I'm new to Selenium, I don't have much Java exposure.
Mm.
I didn't do Java programming or anything. So without programming knowledge, I'm trying to learn. So
Mm.
I'm finding the methods, because right now what they are doing is we have a CI/CD environment
Yes.
where we have
Mm.
GitLab with Jenkins.
Mm.
So whatever
So
scripts we create, they want me to use actually create the project in Selenium WebDriver, I think.
yeah. Mm.
Use Selenium WebDriver, then move it to Jenkins and build a job and run it over there.
So yes, yeah. I mean, this is just a demo video, so I wanted to show you the ID because if I
Mm.
start talking on a WebDriver environment, you will be totally confused. You will be totally gone because
Yeah,
in WebDriver directly we'll start with the programming. So we
yeah.
have planned a session agenda in such a fashion that basics of whatever Java is needed for us to start working on this WebDriver, will be covering the basics of that Java.
Mm.
Along with that, parallelly, we will be covering this particular Selenium WebDriver as well.
Okay. So the
So
thing
first,
is, I want to see it is now my choice, because what they
uh,
want is at the end of the day they are going to see the reports. No one knows what I am using technically.
mm,
So
mm, mm,
I was looking for something called as like record and playback with
mm, mm.
minimal programming, because I'm not much used to programming. I don't know how much I can learn also. So
Okay.
see, you may teach everything, but
Mm,
the practically
yes,
applying it is different. Using a demo application is different.
yes,
So
yes.
when
Mm,
I get hurdles, when I get some challenging issues, so I should be
mm.
able to work on that.
Resolve that. Yes, yes.
So my thing is, when it comes to practical part, how much I can apply, I'm not sure. So, but definitely I need. So catalog record is the one I thought,
Yes.
where I
Very good.
can install in my machine, create the scripts for the application, then move the scripts to GitLab and Jenkins and run it in the CI/CD. So that is what I was looking for. Or they are asking, okay, you can directly go to Maven, start use the Selenium WebDriver and create the scripts. So I am not now having expertise on that. So, but they are okay with that. I can use either recorder and create a script, or you directly work on creating using Java programming. So whichever I am
So,
comfortable, they are okay with that in my company.
okay. So
But I
Catalan
want to learn, see,
is,
whatever syllabus you have, I want to learn the Selenium WebDriver. But at the same time, if you can teach me with the recording tool also, that will help me to some extent to work with my company, to come up to the speed in the company and then go work with it.
so Catalan recorder, even I have tried it. It is similar to IDE. When I have seen it, it is similar to Selenium IDE, where we have record and a playback, and we can export the test cases to the of our choice, like to whatever section I wanted to export it. I can export it like this is what it is there, right? So I can
Right, right.
export it to Java TestNG, Java JUnit, and
Yes.
then now this in order to write this code or in order to enhance this code, again you need to work with programming. Here is the place
Oh,
where yeah. So here is my test data is hard coded here. Now
right.
I can't use this hard coded thing. So now I need to bring up some methodologies by using which I can make it parameterized.
Okay.
Right. So here again I might need a programming again there. So I'll
Okay.
do a workaround on this. The day you have sent it, said it, I've installed it and I've seen it. So I'll see how can I work with data driven, and I'll try to take it if possible the sessions with these Ketlon recorder.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So again, the one more thing is, I don't need to see. Suppose you have like couple of people joining along with me, then you may have to follow a standard protocol.
Yes.
So now the class is like he said 25 hours. So I don't want too much of theory or history of Selenium and things. So I want to concentrate more on the practical part, more than learning the architecture or the history of Selenium. No, I don't want too much of theory basically.
Okay.
I want to work more on the practical part. See, whatever you teach me, I want to try to implement in my
Okay.
real-time application. And then see what's happening. If I come across some issue, I want to interact with you, at least to some extent. If I can get it fixed, I'll be happy to go from my, see, as a tester I should not make mistake, but something which is beyond your control, you cannot help me, so I'm not expecting that part. At least whatever when I do as a tester, I should be able to
Okay.
correct it.
So,
That is what I'm expecting from this classes actually.
okay.
So that's the
So
reason
you
I don't
want
want to have too many classes within a week. So 2 to 3 classes, not more than that, maximum 2 classes, so that we can go slowly. And it depends again. If I'm the only student, you can tell me 2 dates, but if it's not convenient, if you have something else coming up, I'm flexible to work with you.
okay.
So like for example, you may have, because you are also working and doing this, I'm also working and doing.